I think I may title this review, Beware All Ye Who Enter Here, or the MI100, not for the faint of heart, anything along those lines. This is going to be a quick overview and probably part of a series of videos that I'm going to do around the MI100. And so I think one of the things you need to know is, what is the MI100? MI100 is part of AMD's Instinct line of cards, and these line are data center cards. They do not have any video outputs. They do not have any fans. They are truly passive cards designed for data centers. Now, why would I be talking about a data center card at all? And that's because I run a small mini data center here in the office. So let's switch over and pull up the desktop here. So this is Tech Power Up. Shout out to them for having really good product diagrams and information. You'll see this card comes with 7,680 cores. The big drive here is going to be this 32 gig memory size. This is massive. And it's HBM2, which means it is very fast. This card, again, if you look here on the front, you'll see there's no video outputs, and it's just an open grill. This is a pass-through based card. Good shot of the back there. And you'll notice no fans, no nothing, just power. So, and this is a shot of the die here. So you'll see the central processor is there, and then it's stacked by 4 sets of these high bandwidth memory modules on either side that give you the 32 gigs of memory. Now, this card is not incredibly like high boosting or anything like that. This is really designed for long-term loads, very high computational level loads. If we come down in here, you'll see that the FP16 is going to be its highlight at almost 200 teraflops, an 8-to-1 argument there. It does not do well in FP64. It's only 11 teraflops there, so you do see a pretty steep drop off there. Not as hard as some of the Nvidia cards will, but and we'll circle back to the Nvidia in a little while. You'll see that FP16 is a pretty solid contender for this particular card. The successor to this card actually regressed a little bit in that front, but overall, pretty solid card. The main workhorse for this card, it does not support DirectX, does not support OpenGL, does not support Vulkan, and does not have a shader model. The only thing that this card supports is ROCm. If you're not using ROCm, you are not using this card. And I think I'll just segue directly into that, which is ROCm only works on Linux. ROCm does not run on Windows as of 4.8.25. There is no support for ROCm in Windows. And so you're going to be very constrained in what you can and can't do with this card. I was a little bit misguided when I picked up the card at first because I assumed I could get it to work inside Windows, but you are not getting this working inside of Windows. You plug it into a Windows environment, it just doesn't know what to do with it at all. You plug it into a Linux environment, and your results may vary. But why this card? So to show why this card, we would switch over to the Nvidia A100 PCIe, which has 40 gigs of the newer HBM2E memory. Now, the Nvidia card is a very similar card. You're going to notice passive cooling, all of the same pieces and parts in here, and then you're going to notice that, where is it? Down in here, that we've got 77 teraflops for FP16, Again, you see a pretty harsh fall off. Now, the thing that Nvidia has done to really help them is doing floats and INT8s and other half or quarter precision drivers, and those allow it to be a very powerful card. Now, this card was released a little bit later, so this was, apologize, this one was released in June 2020, whereas the AMD card came out in November of 2020. So, did have this on the market first, and the thing that Nvidia does really, really well is CUDA. And CUDA is very widely supported. Everything runs CUDA. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Plug it in, it's going to run because CUDA has been programmed for it. Whereas the AMD card, almost nothing is programmed for ROCm. And if it is programmed for ROCm, you're going to find a lot of weird issues with ROCm. It's definitely been an uphill battle for sure. Now, the kicker and why anybody would ever look at it is the cost on a used A100. Again, this is a card 5 years ago, right? Is still close to $6,000 on the used market currently. Whereas the MI100 can be had somewhere around $1,000. So to say that there's a cost difference is understating it just slightly. And, you know, there are other models and pieces and parts that are floating around out there, but this one has a lot of memory, and that's what large language models love, is memory. And so being able to bring that much memory to bear for each card that you apply, and my server has room to hold 6 of these, would give you an immense amount of memory to be able to run some of the largest models possible. So that is the crux of this card, I think, you know, to really talk about what it is, how it works, you know, is, you know, you're not going to be running this in your standard computer. Your standard computer doesn't have the airflow requirements to be able to support a card like this. You've got to have something with high static pressure that's capable of pushing air through these cards and out into the outside world. And so, and again, they have no video output, so everything has got to be done either console or through your lights out management or some other way to get a video output on it, because these don't have video outs. They're just compute. That's all they do. That's all they're good for. And again, conceptually, these are really cool because they have a really low cost of entry, and you can get a lot of memory for a very small amount of upfront cash. But I do caution, I would not move into one of these without really understanding the limitations that you're going to be getting into. So you're going to need to be inside Linux exclusively, and you're going to need to be able to build the ROCm. You're going to need to be able to build your large language model. You're going to have to adapt when large language model containers don't support the version of ROCm that you're running. You're going to have to be really, really, really thorough with the models themselves. So the very framework of what you're going to be working on is only able to address certain types. So if your Linux operating system is one version or kernel newer than what's supported on the ROCm, you're going to have issues. So the best thing I can say is really just, you know, spend a lot of time on reading through all of the installation instructions all the way through, because there's a lot there and a lot that can go wrong. And I'll spin up another video later that's going to go through hopefully like a high level guide on how to get an MI100 working, and some of the caveats that come with it. So I'm hoping that will be beneficial to somebody. But on the front end, I just wanted to introduce what is the MI100 and how it is, I don't know, revolutionary is not the word that I'm looking for, but disruptive in the market as it is currently.